Hundreds of people this morning took part in a walk for the blind to enlighten the populations about the plight of blind people. The walk was flagged off by Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu. During the event, it emerged that there was still a very low awareness on how people can treat eye blindness, although 80% of such cases can be treated. We're now joined live by our reporter Caroline B for details about this event. Caroline, good afternoon to you. Talk to us about the issues that this walk seeks to sensitize the public about.
To you, Michelle. Of course, I'm live at the Kenya Society of the Blind offices here in South Sea, where they commemorated a walk this morning to raise awareness on blindness and issues around blindness. Well, there is still very low awareness in terms of people getting educated on how these issues can actually be solved in the society. And it's very interesting to note that 80% of blindness cases can actually be treated. And to give us more information, I'm joined by one Juliana from the Kenya Society for the Blind, who's also going to give us more information concerning the same. Well, thank you very much, madam, for finding time to join us. Maybe you can start by telling us that, well, we've just talked about 80% of these cases of blindness can actually be treated. Do people still have awareness concerning this?
That is a big issue, and that is why every year we organize a blind walk in commemoration of the World Sight Day to create awareness about blindness. And as just indicated, 80% is preventable through simple treatment, through simple operations. Yeah.
And maybe another issue is that do we still see most of these people being employed in government institutions or even private organization? Can we say that we have reached that level where people with a disability are getting employed in the public sector?
The Constitution of Kenya is very clear that 5% of the employees in both government and private sector should be persons with disability. However, we are still very far from this because we don't have that percentage yet. We are still lobbying the government, we are still lobbying the private sector to at least have opportunities for persons with disability. Yeah.
Maybe you can tell us what are some of the causes that causes blindness, the most major things that lead to blindness amongst the Kenyan population?
We have many causes of blindness. However, the key causes of blindness in Kenya is cataract, which is a growth in the eye, which is treatable by a simple operation. We also have allergy, which is treated with eye drops. And Kenya Society for the Blind produces eye drops, 28 types of eye drops towards preventing blindness. Yeah.
And what are some of the challenges that face majority of the people with blindness? Because often when we listen to or when we hear media reports, we find that people with blindness still have challenges, accessing public areas, getting some of these services. What are some of the challenges other than what I have stated that most people who are blind tend to face out there?
Visual impairment is very expensive as a disability. When we look at students in school, the devices, the learning materials and equipments are very expensive. And we have been working with the Minister of Education to ensure that, one, they're identified and they go to school, they receive psychosocial support, orientation and mobility. The use of white cane is very critical to a person with visual impairment. And that is why today's walk has two objectives. The first one is to create awareness about the use of white cane. We'd want everybody in Kenya to know that somebody holding a white cane need to be given way to pass, to use the roads, to be safe on the Kenyan roads. We also need Kenyan people to know that if somebody is holding a white cane, that person is visually impaired. We want that recognition. The other objective for today's walk, which we have walked from the judiciary, the Deputy Justice was our guest. She flagged off the walk, is to appreciate the successes and the achievements that persons with visual impairment have already gotten. They are in different sectors of our structures, of our ministries, of our corporates, of our commissions, adding a very big value to the economy of Kenya.
And my final question is it concerns statistics about people with visual impairment. Do we have the statistics about them?
We have the statistics, and according to our last census, we have approximately 350,000 persons with total blindness and 650 with low vision. Because visually impairment is categorized into two, totally blind and low vision.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Juliana. Well, I've been speaking to her on issues concerning visual impairment, where today they were holding a walk to be able to raise awareness of how they can Kenyans out there can be able to access services. And after that, there was actually a session for screening, and people had a chance to know what eye problems they have, some of the issues that also can be treated, and if at all, it can be treated depending on whatever stages it has been reached. Well, Michelle, that is an update from today's work. Back to you.
All right, Caroline B, there. Many thanks for that update. You are watching The Weekend at 1. We take a short break now. Don't go too far. We'll be back with sports.